Okay guys, so today we are going to do a foundation wear test. Hourglass has dropped a new foundation and it is called Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. I've been hearing a lot of mixed reviews about it. I figured today would be the perfect day because I am on my way out the door, headed to work. Honestly, you guys, this is my first time really testing out Hourglass products. Like, I've heard good things about Hourglass as far as the foundation sticks go, but I never could bring myself to buying the foundation stick because that's not enough product for me. So it just never looked like it was a lot of product. So if you own a foundation stick, then let me know in the comments below. Do you feel like you run out of the foundation? Oh my gosh, my face looks so ashy from this veil. It has SPF 15 in it, but it seems like it's got SPF ash in it. This review is not about the primer. It's about the actual foundation. But so far, the primer gives me a great cast of ash. So, yes, primer. I look like a ghost, yo. We're going to move on to the Vanish foundation. I'm going to start off with 2 pumps. Since I'm used to using a sponge, I'm just going to put it on with a sponge. And the foundation shade that I chose for myself is Sable. I thought it had a really, really beautiful finish in the store. So hopefully, oh, friend. Oh, friend. What in the entire... Y'all, what in the entire... It looked pretty in the store yesterday. Wait a minute, hold on. This ain't vanished yet. Ooh, it's definitely a second face. Ooh, scares me. Okay. So, I believe the next shade up was Walnut. And Hourglass does not have a lot of deeper foundations to choose from as far as the shade range goes. It's very sparse. So let's talk about what it is doing. It covers up blemishes for sure. If you can see, that's what it looks like on my chest. I'm gonna let it just sit there so it can dry. I had to kind of turn my lights down so you guys can get a better vibe of how the foundation is looking on my skin. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the foundation shade off bat, like off top? It scared me at first. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if Sable's it. And I still don't know if Sable's it. I'm gonna have to see it in my car, you know, outside in the car. Like, I'm gonna have to like really, really look at this foundation. I can tell you right now, it wasn't vanishing at first. Well, nothing's vanishing about this at first. It was just sitting. But the more I sit here and the more I look at myself, even on the screen, it looks a lot better. But I'm definitely gonna have to see what it does throughout the day because right now I'm kind of side-eyeing it. I'm gonna go ahead before I am stupid late to work and finish up the rest of my face so I can run to work and do a full 8-hour shift. Okay guys, so we are back and it's about 3 in the morning. We are gonna get into the pros and cons of this foundation from Hourglass. Here are my results throughout the day. So let me start with the positives. I would say that you don't need a lot of this foundation. In fact, it even tells you several times in the description, do not use a lot of this foundation. And it also comes with a very small pump. And I think that that also helps you manage the amount that you use with this foundation. I would go by using 1 pump at a time and even maybe a half a pump at a time because honestly, if you use too much, it can start to look cakey. And I feel like right now, because one, I'm not used to wearing full coverage foundation, I'm used to building my foundation up. I feel like my finish almost looks borderline cakey for me. Another positive is that when it goes on at first, it looks really smooth. Even from far away, looking at myself in the mirror and probably what you guys see, my skin looks really smooth. I can appreciate that, especially with it being full coverage. And also, because you don't need a lot of this foundation, you won't have to replenish it that much, because $56 is kind of steep for a foundation. So if I'm going to keep replenishing this foundation, I would say this foundation better last me a good long while. And you get about 0.84 fluid ounces or 25 mil. I get a whole 1 ounce with some other foundations. But this 0.84 should last you for a long time, because you don't need a lot. And if you start to use a lot, your face will look like cake. I'm overall happy with the foundation shade that I chose. I wasn't happy with it at first. It looked like a grayish green mask on my face. When you saw me apply it earlier, that's just kind of the way it looked. But then once it settled in and after I finished doing my makeup, it melted a little bit better into my skin. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the negatives really quick. The first negative that I noticed with this foundation is that after a few hours, my skin started to look pretty textured. So I got to work at about 5:30, and around like 8:30 I started to notice I could see my foundation, like really see it, and I could kind of see it seeping into my pores. So I wasn't very happy with that. I'm not very happy with it right now. It separates a little bit around here in my forehead area. From far away into this mirror, my skin looks really good, but getting an up close and personal look at this, my skin looks like it's just about to crack open. Like, I can see every single thing in my skin. Like, I can see it all. That's not the finish I'm looking for throughout the day. Like, that's not the type of longevity I want in a foundation. So that right there is that's a no-go for me. Also, number two is that it is super, like, I'm not playing, super drying. Throughout the day, I felt like my face was getting like super tight and just like I could barely move it. It just did, like, especially around in my cheek area, it just didn't feel good throughout the day. It felt like it was sucking out every bit of oil that I had into my skin. And remember, guys, I am a dry combination skin, and this foundation is a matte foundation, and I didn't accumulate very much oil throughout my skin. For today, I would say that my nose accumulates the most oil, so that kind of came through a little bit, but it almost just looks like a pretty highlight. So I'm not mad at that. But what I am mad about is that I don't look like I have any life into my face. It's so matte. And mind you, I spray my skin with Cover FX Dewy Finish Spray. It lasted for maybe a minute, honey, and this foundation ate that up, okay? It eats up moisture, okay? So what I would say is that if you are oily, you might want to give this foundation a try, because if you're oily or super oily and you like that type of finish where that you just don't produce any type of oil, or you produce a little bit of oil throughout the day, I think this foundation might be for you. But for me, as dry combo, this foundation is way too drying for me. I can still feel my nose like really like tightening up, and then looking at myself in the mirror, I can actually see like lines in my nose. It just doesn't look good. It ain't blurring nothing, okay? If anything, it's showing everything. So I would say this Vanish Act is about good for me for about a couple of hours, and then it starts to kind of slowly just show everything. Like, the disappearing act is over, y'all. Like, everything is starting to come out, and then not in a flattering way. In person, I promise you, you will be like, you know, something just doesn't look right. The other thing that really irritated me about this foundation is that I couldn't touch my face for nothing, because if I did and I touched anywhere else on my shirt, it transferred all around the collar of my top. I mean, it just looks dirty. This transferred all my clothes everywhere. I've got it like down here in places on my shirt that I didn't need to have it at. I'm not here to play them type of games. And last but not least, I would say that even though I'm overall happy with my foundation choice, I can have any other choice but to choose Sable, because honestly I would have wanted something that was still neutral but gave me a little bit more of a richer finish, because Sable just made it. After applying it, you saw how my reaction was with that. But throughout the day, it just kind of became like, either I put too much on and it looks cakey, or do I really like this shade? I absolutely feel like it could have been better. But my other choices from this shade were either too light or too deep. And so you only have 3 other shades after Sable in this foundation line. You've got Walnut that comes right after Sable, and Walnut just became way too red. And then there's Chestnut, and Chestnut was a nice neutral, but it was way too deep. And then after that, you guessed it, it's Espresso. Espresso is the very last shade in this foundation line. So there's not a lot of choices on the deeper end of their shade range spectrum, because I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do I mix? Would I mix? Would I ask for a sample of this to mix? And I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted to see how Sable would look in its purest form on me. And I don't hate it, but I definitely feel like it could be better for sure. So that's what I would say my pros and cons are about this foundation. If you're oily and you're looking for a matte foundation that does not bother you, and you feel like you can probably find your shade range in the Hourglass foundation collection, then by all means try this foundation. I really want to know how a person who is really oily feels about this foundation, because on one end I think it will be perfect for oily people, but then also I wonder about that texture, if their skin is gonna look textured throughout the day, because it goes on beautifully. You don't need a lot, okay? I like a more natural finish, and the fact that I can kind of see the cakiness, it's almost borderline cake to me. But then again, it just could be because I'm not used to full coverage. I do like a medium to full, like borderline full, and this is like full borderline cake. That is the end of this review. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. Comments, have you tried this foundation? Are you gonna try this foundation? And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, especially if you found it helpful or somebody else might find it helpful. So go ahead and do you and help me out too, boo. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.